Hello, and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode number 143 for the week of Monday, January 27th, 2014. My name's Ryan Higgins. Who is here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
And Charlie.
Toby will be here shortly. He's running a tad late. So we're just going to go ahead and start without him. Not a lot of news this week. I mean, there's kind of one big thing, but we're going to save that till Toby's here because I know he will want to talk about it, so we'll save that.
I don't think he'll talk. More like rant, bitch, scream.
Sure. There's a little of that.
Tantrum.
There's a little of that.
Yep.
Well,
and then we still have the monthly book club.
Oh, yes.
We do. We have Brock's book club, Comic Conspiracy book club pick of the month, Blue Estate Volume 1 from Image Comics. So let's jump into some questions here to start. I have a handful of stuff here.
Hit us with it.
We got some questions on Twitter. This is from Spencer. He asks, where do you see the comic industry in 10 years? All digital? Still the same as it is now? Etc.? This is a question we get a lot. And I think it would be hard to jump to the conclusion that things will be vastly different. If you go back 10 years ago, with the exception of digital, and even now there was still people were scanning comics. There was still digital comics, comic book readers, at least 10 years old at this point. So these things were out there, maybe not in official capacity. There was a few. Go back 10 years prior, there were still trade paperbacks. It wasn't quite as as big as they are today, but there were still quite a few trades. Single issue comics kind of doing the same thing. Variants were around. We haven't seen a drastic change.
See, to me, it really depends on if that price point moves much farther.
It will at least once.
Like, I guess my mentality is if comics keep going up in price, the amount of comics people are buying are going to keep
dropping.
It's got this sort of weird level in my head that at this point, every time they increase the price, the amount of money they're making seems to stay the same, but the amount of readers go down.
Well, if you look, it's been, inverted from the very beginning, right? So the most people that ever read comics were in the 30s when they were the cheapest. Mm-hmm. And the further you go, the more expensive they get, and the fewer people are reading them. Now, that is not necessarily meaning that comics aren't popular or that price is directly related to how many people read them. It is just comics have been supplanted by movies and television. I mean, these things existed then too, but as a cheap form of entertainment for a lot of people. Video games, especially tablets, phones, there are other things to take away people's time.
Well, my only issue with some of in terms of the sort of price of comic versus the price of other entertainment is I kind of feel like a lot of the other entertainment in some ways has either gotten cheaper or becomes available cheaper, where comics tend to...
Well, because the more people that do something, the cheaper it can be.
I know.
Because they are competing in a market where you want the most for your buck, and you have millions and millions and millions of people spending billions and billions and billions of dollars a year on it. So comics are a niche audience and have been really since the 60s. That was probably the last time comics were a mainstream purchase.
There's always been this sort of trend towards the idea of moving certain things to trade only or like original graphic novel only. And with the way sort of prices have been and that kind of thing, I kind of do see certain things moving more that way rather than single issue driven.
Well, especially in the independent market.
Yeah.
Because that's a bookstore market that gets them in. Amazon will stock it, and Barnes & Noble will stock it, and the bookstores, and you can be on Kindle, and you can be on these different devices. So there is much more reason for independent books to be that way. Single issue comics for the Marvel and DC and Image and Dark Horse and stuff still sell well enough that is still a large, that is still the vast majority of their market. I'm not saying
those are in any danger of sort of shifting that way. I just think we're going to see more, as we sort of talked about last week, the idea of number ones being sort of harder to sell based on the current price point.
Well, if you look,
I think you turn that around to a affordable $10 trade paperback that's a little thicker, or $15 trade paperback, it becomes easier to sell again because you get that sort of sense of more for your buck.
Well, I mean, we could pull out, Diamond Catalog right now and go through it. But if you look past Image Dark Horse, Boom, IDW, and you look at all the independent comic publishers, they the vast majority of them publish graphic novels. Mm-hmm. The single issues that are being released by these small companies is almost non-existent these days. You have companies like Aspen who release stuff, but I don't think their money comes from comic sales. I think their money comes from prints and variants and archive, things like that. The Michael Turner line just keeps. I mean, they can keep putting his stuff out. Grimm Fairy Tales, their money comes from variants. Less so from the single issue comics. So a lot of these guys, there's so few comic publishers putting out single issues that aren't attached to some sort of either Image or Boom or something like that, where there's like a mass conglomerate of creators that can get together under one banner, or these companies that are focused, like Dynamite, almost exclusively around other material.
Yeah.
So here comes Toby. Oh, we should have waited 5 minutes. I thought he was going to be a bit longer, but oh well. So it's difficult to really know where the industry is going to go in 10 years. I don't think it's going to go quite that far. Oh, Toby's apparently going to the liquor store, so maybe I'm glad we started. He's got to get drunk before the podcast, or he can't be his normal self. I'm joking.
No, he's got a drink to deal with what we have to talk about later.
Exactly. Yeah. But to go back to the main question, in 10 years, no. All digital, no. Will it be mostly the same as it is now? Yeah, mostly.
Well, I mean, hopefully in 10 years they'll have maybe learned something. Because, I mean, now it seems like they're floundering back and forth between raising the price, between how should this come out, how many books should we have, all that stuff.
But, I mean, that's been 70 years of comics. It has never changed. It's not going to change. I mean, Marvel and DC...
That's why I hope in 10 years maybe there's a little bit.
Oh, they won't. I mean, if you talk specifically Marvel and DC, they get bigger, they get smaller. They get bigger, they get smaller. They put out more books, they put out fewer books. They raise the price, they hold the line. They go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So there is this, will they be $4.99 in 10 years? Yeah, almost guaranteed. Will they be mostly the same as they are now, 20, 22 pages, once a month, twice a month, maybe? Yeah, again, I don't think... Actually, that shift from Marvel for twice a month for most of their books, or 18 a year, is probably the most drastic change in comic books in the last decade. And I don't think anyone realizes that, but that is a huge shift in the market. Yeah. And I wonder if we'll see DC follow suit.
Well, it pisses you off.
What's that?
The fast shipping?
Well, it used to, but not his tune has changed.
Totally, yeah. I mean, when they first started it, my fear was... this is going to lead to them blowing through the writers and artists, and this is going to just not work. I am, one, surprised how well it works. Mm-hmm. Two, Marvel has basically set up artists. I don't want to say are irrelevant at Marvel right now, but they are pretty much not part of the equation. Yeah. The artists come in and do what they can do, and then they leave. We don't have those Jim Lee and Tom McFarlanes, and those guys are so long gone that there's nothing like that at Marvel right now, and there's really nothing like that at DC. The artists are so easily replaceable on titles these days. The writers a little bit too, but mostly the artists are not part of the equation. I mean, we're seeing an issue of Daredevil 16 came out last week before 15 was released. David Aja's next issue, who's the artist, has been pushed like issue 19 or something like that. So having the artist who's been on such a major part of the book now just completely sidelined to make the book monthly again is, shows that Marvel's interest in keeping that series around is non-existent, because they can replace the artist, because an issue a month is better than an issue with the right artist every 3 months.
Well, it seems that Marvel at least has a difficulty with keeping kind of a house style for a book. Like,
there's been no house style for 30 years in any of these companies.
Well, I mean, with Animal Man and Swamp Thing, I mean, the transfer... I mean, it hasn't been too drastic of an artist change in those books. I mean, even it's been a similar style for each kind of artist change. It's nothing I think the only drastic time it happened was during Rot World, where there was this kooky kind of cartoony artist going on. But for the most part, whenever they changed artists over, it wasn't as like a jarring event.
They've all kind of been similar. I mean, I understand what you mean, but yeah, I don't think we'll see any, to finish answering this question, I don't think we'll see any major changes in the next 10 years. So that's a question for Toby. This is from Danny.
Hey, Danny.
He says, how do you guys store your single issues? He's thinking about getting drawer boxes or anything more permanent. Now, storing is something we talk about on this podcast pretty regularly. And I am a huge fan of the drawer, not the drawer box brand drawer boxes. I don't like those. But there's a company called BCW that uses standard long boxes without a lid, and it has a drawer box. Toby, thank you. I wasn't sure when you were going to be here. I thought you were still going to be a while, but we saved specific stuff for you. Okay. So trust me, you didn't miss much.
Yes, we're just talking about the potential of the future, and now
Well, I did say I
storing
was leaving.
boxes.
I thought you said you weren't going to be leaving yet.
No, I was like, I'm just about to leave.
Oh, I totally misheard you. Say hello.
Hello.
There you go. There's Toby. Toby, how do you like to store your comics?
What?
How do you like to store your single issues?
How do I like
Behind
this
my
thing?
house.
Yeah, behind Charlie's house, as he puts it. Seriously. No, I mean, the normal book, board and bag and
Are you a long box man, short box
short
man,
box. I don't like the long
drawer
boxes.
box?
I tried the drawer boxes, but they're behind Charlie's house, so I have a really hard time getting to them at
So-
this point.
Are we also talking ideal storage?
Oh, do
I mean,
whatever.
ideal, I have a bunch of Billy bookcases, even in single issues, and just sort them on the wall, but...
I don't like. I see people put their books on walls like that, like spine out, and I don't like that for single issues at all. I've never liked that.
Me neither, but it's better than being in boxes and never reading them ever again.
That's why you have drawer boxes.
Yeah.
So I have the same setup we have at the store. The store is kind of a test run for what I ended up doing at my house. So I have these nice, we got them like Home Depot, just these nice kind of industrial shelves, and you space them out. 5 drawer boxes fit perfectly on these on these 4 shelves, basically. Kind of make the bottom one lower.
Do you do two on the bottom? And
2 and then one, and one.
yeah.
And even if you have to, you can do another one up top. Oh, Toby, that is Toby's looking at a nice card that was given to us and a box of handmade candy, not made from them, but from a store in LA by forum poster Jackie,
Oh,
who stopped by and says hello to everyone. So, hello,
Nice.
thank you, Jackie.
Thank
Those
you.
are some good, some dampy
I like
candy.
that. I have a hieroglyphics shirt on. That's awesome.
And he made a little hand drawing cartoon of all of us for our card, so that's awesome.
I got my avatar.
Very neat.
But yeah, I like the drawer boxes. They work wonderful. Bag and board most of my comics and throw them in there. Put them on shelving. Works really well.
For me, I don't mind long boxes with the lids. I think for me, it's like you said, the shelves. I think is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Because the shelves that we got here at the shop work really, really well. The only thing I would say is replace the board that they give you. Put down
for the shelving.
just to replace that board with plywood.
It's
if you
cheap.
can.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a cheap
replace
board.
because the thing is the metal rubs a little bit right there, but I don't think with drawer boxes you have that problem. Because when you pull them out, it goes over that ledge.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but if
There's
you're
no problem
storing,
with
like for me, if I was storing long boxes there, I'd want to replace that shelf
Yeah.
board. I mean, ideally for me, I'd have long boxes and shelving built to hold them probably in the same fashion of 2 on the bottom and then 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Or,
because you have like that permanent shelf sort of, so it's more difficult to.
Yeah. I'm saying because my question was, can we have an ideal sort of storage platform? And for me, storage would be a permanent kind of set area.
Yeah, sure. Some sort of permanent drawer fixture built into the side of a wall in the house. Yeah, for now it's boxes in the garage. So.
I use short boxes for my reading, but it's basically a short box without a lid. So once I'm done reading, it goes in the box and then alphabetized, and then it gets sorted in once the box gets filled up.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, it really just boils down to what you can do. I mean, I've helped people with their storage, and they can use long boxes, and I've helped people who have storage, and they can only store short boxes.
Right.
So,
Well, I move a lot, or I did move a lot, so I like my short boxes just sure of moving. Just the long boxes were a little more annoying to move around.
yeah.
See, my answer is quite simple. I just keep a limited amount of drawer boxes at home that when they get filled up, I bring the ones I no longer want into the shop and go more bookshelf with trades than single
That's
issues.
quite what I want to do too, to be honest with you. I also looked at Lane. He's been on here a couple of times. He has these Velcro. They look like binders, but they're not binders. It's basically like a holder.
The magazine ones? They're like angled?
No, it's a full envelope, but it's a box. So you could put about like 12 or 24 issues in there. And I thought that was genius, especially if you're not quite ready to bind them, or if you don't necessarily want to bind them, you could like put runs in there. Like I could go like 1 through 24 of Gambit, and then put like they have little holes inside too. You could put like you print out some nice art and just put it in there.
Yeah.
And basically it's the whole run or a good run of something, and you could keep them together, and you could put it on the bookshelf.
It's just like an accordion. folder?
No, it's just like, I mean, it's like this thick, and you put them in like single issues. You know, you could basically, leave the bag and board out. Even, and you could fit quite a few inside. And basically, it's like binding without the actual binding part.
Right.
So when you read it, you actually take it out of the box, and you have a whole bunch of them. Right?
Yeah.
So I actually he got a whole box of those, and I've been trying to see if I could buy some off of him just to try it out.
Huh.
I actually kind of like that way because then you could, like, if you have like a run of say 36 issues or something, you could put it in 2 boxes and put it in a bookshelf.
Yeah. I've seen people do it with magazine storage boxes, the ones that are kind of they stand tall and then they have the angle to them.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically like that, but it's the whole. It's covered all the way around and has a lid to it. And it's kind of neat. Yeah.
All right, Stefano asked a question here on Twitter. He says, and I'll after I read the question, I'll explain the situation here, what he's talking about. He says, fans seem to hate ethnicity swaps for characters, but also hate original characters, sales-wise, meaning new characters don't sell well.
Dynamite.
So how do comics diversify? What he is talking about specifically here is referencing something that we were going to talk about this week, that on the Flash television show that's being produced, there is talk that Iris West, who is Barry Allen's girlfriend,
actual
wife, and then Wally West's aunt, correct? Yeah, aunt, is going to be not white, basically, like she is in the comic books, which led a lot of people to wondering if Wally West would also not be white. Bleeding Cool and a few other sites have posted pretty heavily this past week about the rumors that in the New 52, when they reintroduce Wally West in the Flash annual that comes out like a month or two, that he is not going to be white, that he's more than likely going to be African American. The problem here is there are some fans that don't like this swap where you take an established character and you make them some other race. But the other problem is that new characters don't sell. So how do you diversify comics if you're going to piss people off one way and make no money the other way? Now, on a personal note, I love The Flash. I love Wally West. Having Wally West be black is not necessarily a bad thing to me. Having him not be Wally West is the bad thing.
Yeah.
So there have been some characters in the New 52 that haven't been... They don't have to be traditional. They can update them, but kind of cliched, stereotypical. Some of these updates haven't worked very well. Wonder Girl is an example of a character that I don't think a lot of people like the new version based off the Cassie Sandemark, the previous version. The new Wonder Girl, to me, doesn't work. I know Superboy and Supergirl, a lot of people are kind of on that. Again, their versions, their characters don't really work, especially fans of Connell from the previous New 50 or from the pre-New 52 version. And of course, a lot of this is just guessing. We have no idea what the story is and what the plot's going to be. But the rumor of Wally West that we have seen is that he's some street kid tagging on, some building in the middle of Central City. And to me, that feels just out of place with the character of Wally West. Being some sort of like street thug kid, regardless of race, is just that feels so just kind of cliche and dumb and I don't know. And I have no interest.
Would you prefer a Miles Morales?
Well, and
that's almost better, isn't it?
But that's the other problem,
right? It's a different character.
It's a different character.
It's not Peter.
Right. So for me, and then that's why so many people have trouble with when you do these race swaps, or more specifically in Wally's case, possibly this complete change in character from sort of one mode to another. I don't think most people are mad because of the ethnicity. I think more people are mad because you're not staying true to the original character that they liked. And I think that the actual race doesn't have a lot to do with it. He could be Mexican or Asian or white or black or Hispanic. Any of these things, I don't think that is really the thing that makes people mad. I know for myself, making Wally kind of this, like I said, if he's like this street kid, that doesn't kind of ring true to who Wally West is. So, but Miles Morales is an example of, they took a named character and had a new person a named a character, a superhero, and made a new person take over that. Now, DC has been very successful at this in the past with, again, Wally West taking over for Flash, or Green Arrow, or
John Stewart,
Blue Beetle. I mean, all these characters have had, and Jaime Reyes is great.
Yeah, I almost think John Stewart has done really right.
Right, or and you have what's his face from Firestorm? His name I'm totally blanking right now. Jason Rush. You have all these great characters that have been formed that have become the new version of the identity. And to me, this sort of like extreme change of character or a race swap feels like a cheap change.
Yes.
It doesn't feel the way they should go about it. Now, some people are like, well, that's racist. And I'm like, well, if it's racist, it's racist.
Well,
I don't care.
It's a media plug. We're changing the race. People are going to be up in arms about it.
No, I don't think they do it for that. They really do for diversity. But I don't think it's for a media plug, really. I think that's just the backlash that comes with it.
Yeah.
To me... I understand the wanting to make comics more diverse, and I have always sort of looked towards, okay, this is where it's worked, this is where it doesn't, and regardless of who the character is, if you create a new character, it's going to be a hard sell to fans. And because of that, you're always going to have those who get very, very attached, and you're going to have those that say, you need to bring back the original, and it's just sort of the way it is.
But if you look, though... Okay, go ahead.
But I do feel like what you always get when you do this, like, Miles Morales thing with Ultimate Spider-Man, I don't feel like the first issue where he took over as Ultimate Spider-Man was necessarily a bad seller. Yes, it dropped after that, but people were willing to give it a try. And a lot of these changes over time, when they're done well, you see sort of the interest in that character pick up again. Where I kind of have a problem is when you make changes to well-established characters, whether or not it's sexuality, race, background. It always gets this sort of sense that you're adjusting things for the sake of adjusting them, and that always sort of rubs me the wrong way, because if it really has a story-driven reason for making the change, it will speak for itself. But so many of these kind of changes sort of come up to really sort of be marketable and pump that book up, and then kind of fall to the wayside because that really had nothing to do with the story.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like DC nowadays, it's almost having... pre-52, it seems like they actually were diversifying the right way. Now it seems like they have a checklist and going, okay, we're going to make a character gay. Who have we not used yet that we can turn gay? You know, as opposed to having a new character, I think. Same as this, the what's it called?
Flash?
Yeah, the Flash thing. I feel like it's a checklist of, hey, we have a Flash that's white. We have another Flash that we haven't used in a while. Let's just make him black. I mean, maybe that's not what's going on in the background, but it feels almost like a checklist they're going.
Well,
by.
if they're making Flash black in the show, they're making Flash black in the comics. I mean, that is what they're doing. But for me, although normally I would say people react poorly to new characters, I think that is slightly true. However, people as a whole react very positive to legacy characters. The new versions of old characters tend to do pretty damn well, going all the way back to the 50s and 60s with Barry Allen, with Hal Jordan, with the updated Carter Hall, with the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four. These are characters that are updated versions of their original versions. They're not they're not the old person redone in a fashion. They're a brand new character just with the same name. So if you look at DC, it's not Clark Kent Superboy that is Superboy to most people in their 30s and under. It's Con-El. It is not, Hal Jordan or even Kyle Rayner that's Kyle Rayner is definitely the Green Lantern to a generation, and Jon Stewart, because of the cartoon, is the Green Lantern to a generation of kids that are now probably in their 20s, or early 20s.
I really don't mind that.
Cassie is Wonder Girl to a giant portion of fandom.
Yes.
Right now, Marvel doesn't have quite as many legacy characters. They do, but not a bit. But DC has, in so many times, had so many legacy characters that have worked very, very well. Yeah, you get a couple. Like there was that horrible Hispanic wildcat that was killed off after like a year or whatever. Like there have been kind of dumb versions of these characters. But Jason Rush, again, like I said, half of the Firestorm Matrix, he's great. He was created, in the last decade. He's a cool new version. Kind of changes that up a bit. And he was in the New 52 take. So I don't get. New Green Arrow, Connor Hawke, he's half Asian, right? So, I mean, you have all these different characters that I think are great legacy characters that work. You take the same name, but they're a new character, and you can do stuff completely different with them. With the case of this, where you're taking a known character and putting this whole new spin on the same name and same face, that's going to cause a lot of people to react poorly to it, and I don't understand why they would do this, other than he's going to be that way in the show.
Connor Hawke is half Asian now, isn't he? Green Arrow's son?
Yeah, but it's
a different mom now.
Yeah,
I guess. Okay, all right.
Isn't Connor half Asian? Is he not?
Pre-52 was a white kid.
No, was
blonde hair.
Well, he was running around with the blonde hair. I don't remember who the mother is on that though.
Yeah,
is it not? What's her face?
Cheshire.
Yeah, isn't she Asian?
Well, no, that's Roy's kid.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Cheshire. What the hell's her name? What the heck? Oh wait, Oliver Queen, the original Green Arrow was Hawke, Connor Hawke. Oh, am I totally wrong? Why did I think Connor Hawke was half Asian?
Yeah, he
what's her face is
Roy's
half Asian.
kid.
Roy's kid's half
Yeah.
Asian. I'm sorry. Okay, never mind. Connor Hawke's totally white. Never mind.
I was like, I wouldn't know about this.
Well,
I like Green Arrow and I like half Asian people. I would have totally known about this.
For some reason, I thought. Okay, well, now who the hell is one of the? Oh God, then who is it? I'm totally thinking of the
Didn't
character.
Roy have a kid with Cheshire? Well, at least in the cartoon he did. I thought in the books he did too.
Yeah, that she was killed. She was killed in as a kid. She was killed. Yeah. I'm totally drawing a blank on her name. Anyway.
Well,
so
here's
regardless.
I have no problem with them doing that when it's done right. Like when they did. Okay, I'm not going to defend Daredevil now, but when they did Daredevil, I didn't mind Kingpin being black because he was Kingpin to me. He felt like Kingpin. He talked like Kingpin. I don't mind it when it's done that way.
What?
Nick Fury. I mean, I know some people say it's okay because it's done in the Ultimate Universe that way, but
Right.
in the end, he walks around, talks like Nick Fury. You know,
Right. Well, in the comics, they did an interesting switch where they had Nick Fury have a kid who was black, who is now named Nick Fury and took over. So it's a kind of goofy way to get around
they
it.
retconned that into it. Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, but when it all said and done, though, when Nick Fury was walking around, that's Nick Fury to me.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, and the Kingpin was the Kingpin to me. There last week, and I think it already got denied, but there was rumors going on that Johnny Storm was going to be played by Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
And I like that actor a lot. But boy, I mean, like, that's not Johnny Storm to me. I'm sorry. I mean, like, maybe his acting would have done a great job about it, but then his sister was still a Caucasian lady, so I made it really, really weird. So I think at this point they all said that's all untrue and stuff like that, which I'm glad to hear. But
Yeah.
I was very worried there for a while, especially since it's such an iconic group of people. The Fantastic Four, know how they look like.
And that's why when it works with like Perry White or Nick Fury or Kingpin or some of these characters, they are not the main...
They're not defined by their ethnicity or whatever. They're defined by the character that they are.
Yeah, but
Like,
then you could argue that
he's a news.
you could argue that you could have had a black Iron Man. You could technically had a black Tony Stark.
I mean, I
You
don't...
could have had Terrence Howard play Tony Stark.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think these characters are defined by their ethnicity at all. However, significant changes to minor characters is generally... People are like, okay, well, whatever. Significant changes to major characters is going
weird.
to be when people don't like it.
Iconically, I mean, Superman is who he is. It's going to be really weird seeing an Asian Superman running around. I really would find that really weird. And there was a rumor for the longest time going around that Beyonce really wanted to play Wonder Woman. I was like, please no. I understand, strong woman, blah, 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 strong woman character, blah, blah, put the two together. We got a solid seller. I'm like, no, but iconic characters don't work for me that way. I'd rather see new characters on screen. That's, I mean, bottom line. I mean, Iron Man would have been really weird seeing, an African American being Tony. But we do have his partner War Machine. That works. So I'm really worried about what some of these people are thinking making these movies, though.
Yeah, there is always a complaint that you take a character, a male character, and you make them female, and you have the woman version of the character, but that doesn't work. And you have a white character, you make a black version of them.
I mean, how many people are going to be up in arms if Power Man in a new Shield cartoon is going to be a white dude? They're going to be up in arms.
Sure, it works both ways. So.
I mean, for an example of something that I think worked well was Simon Baz worked really well when Johns introduced him as the new Green Lantern.
He's a legacy character. He's a new character.
But like you said, it's a legacy character. But they established who he was before he became a Green Lantern. And he donned a ring, but in that case, it's easy because there can be many Green Lanterns. Like John Stewart, isn't it? We have John Stewart who
right. But there's been like 90 Flashes and stuff. So that's why I said legacy characters work for.
But it's to me, it's if you want a Flash character, right? Like Wally West is like you said, a kind of established character. If you want another Flash, then if you build a good enough story, then the story and the character are going to do well. I mean, Simon Baz isn't selling tons of books right now, but he's also not a character people are like...
He's not selling any books right now.
Well, is he in any books right now?
No, barely.
If he was actually in that book recently, I might...
He hasn't been recently.
Not in the last arc.
Manhunter and
Stargirl.
Yeah. I guess my only sort of point in terms of this, especially going from TV to comics... is it is entirely possible to add new characters and have that character sort of take on a life of their own and be a huge success, sort of like Diggle from the Arrow show that got folded into. You have Renee Montoya from Batman the Animated Series that got folded into. Yes, it's hard to, at this point in time, just flat out put out a new comic with a new character and have it sell very well.
And, with something like Diggle, he's not like Black Diggle. He's just Diggle. That's who he is.
I know.
This guy will be referred to as the Black Wally West forever.
Exactly.
And it feels like because it's...
That's a really good point.
I can't wait for the argument. It's the Black Flash. No, that's Zoom or Reverse Flash, right?
Sure. Yeah, it's a weird...
that's a real solid point, though.
Yeah.
I totally understand, but I don't think it's the right way for a lot of characters. I think it can work, and obviously when the book comes out, and this could all be bullshit. It could be totally false. I mean, we don't know 100% yet, but very heavily leaning towards it, especially if they're going to try to tie
more gingers. That's what I'm saying. More gingers.
Yeah, going back to Green Lanterns, I mean, John Stewart is not known as the Black Green Lantern. I mean, maybe when you talk about him, you name him out that way, but he is a character of his own man. He's an army guy. He's the characteristics of him.
I mean, people call him. I mean, yeah, he's John Stewart because he is one of many of these characters.
Okay, not to get uber racist here, but
go Wakandian on our asses.
But
ever say that again? That's a great way to start a conversation. Also,
the way I look at this is, yes, he is a well-defined character now, but I have a feeling if you go back to when they first introduced him, that's how people were referring to him.
Possibly. Yeah. Well, from one person's favorite character on the table to another person's favorite character on the table. Toby, it was a sad week for you last week. No?
No comment?
We heard about the cancellation. Or maybe not sad. I don't know. Maybe you're done. We heard about cancellation.
I'm ignoring it all.
We actually talked about this. I would completely forgot. It feels like this has been months, but now that apparently it was like 6 days ago, where DC announced the cancellation of 6 of their titles. We were actually talking about this on our last podcast, wondering what was going to happen here, and now we have confirmation.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of it. I mean, I really like Kyle Higgins on the book.
Well, the book is Nightwing, by the way.
And then he said he was leaving the book for personal reasons, and then the next announcement is it's ending in 2 issues after his leaving, or 1 issue even.
Right. So, first, we have a handful of new titles coming out from DC, but now we know why, because we have a handful of cancellations. Nightwing is ending at issue 30. We'll talk about that in a minute. Justice League of America is ending in issue 14. Originally, we heard it was going to be renamed Justice League Canada. However, now it is Justice League United. Number 0 is going to be coming out, a brand new series. We just talked about that last week. With my awesome Adam Strange is going to be on it. Hell yeah. Suicide Squad is ending at 30.
Bullshit.
A personal favorite of the podcast.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
It was not one of DC's better selling books, but
It's a really surprising.
But there was definitely a few books below it that are still going on. So I'm curious if we're going to see possibly a relaunched Task Force X comic with a slightly more friendly name, because maybe they're going to try to make a Task Force S movie or throw them into the comics.
Or being an arrow.
Right, exactly. Superman Unchained is ending at issue 9, which is the Scott Snyder Jim Lee book.
Because it was just a mini.
Well, they never announced
limited
it.
Series.
They never said that officially, but
they said it officially when they said Jim Lee is doing art.
but we didn't know if anyone was going to be taking over.
Yeah, but
And to me, I'm wondering if we are going to now see a major Superman shakeup, because that was sort of their book, and Action, I don't think, has been performing any better than it was before with the Greg Pak on, which is unfortunate because people like Greg Pak, but I'm wondering if we're going to see a complete shakeup of Superman. Stormwatch is ending at 30, but we already knew that. That was announced a while back.
yeah, but that's ending on like a prequel thing, which is kind of weird.
I don't know. No, this is the story sets up the organization's role in the future of the DC universe. In DC, when they cancel these books, the characters tend to go other places and do other things.
Well, no, I could have sworn that when the news on the Stormwatch cancellation came out, it was like the prequel to Future Shock or something.
Well, Future's End. That's
End.
That's the 5 year later book. So, and then Teen Titans is ending in issue 30. Again, one of the few books that is launched started from the very beginning, all ending. Now I'm going to go backwards here with Teen Titans, with the Wally coming back, we'll talk about Nightwing in a minute here, with Raven being around, with Cyborg getting upgraded in Justice League recently.
That was awesome.
I think we may see a bit of an OG New Teen Titans relaunch coming up, with the new 52 versions of these characters.
So it'll be the new,
Maybe not.
the new 52 New Teen Titans.
Right? Yeah.
Nice.
So you have
Nightwing being
you
the
have
leader.
you have Dick Grayson as the leader, and again we'll get to that in a few minutes. You have we don't have Donna yet, but if there's a book that would bring Donna Troy back, it would be that. You have Wally West, because he's going to be in the titles. You have Cyborg, who's been in Justice League. You have Raven, who's been in Superboy. And then you have...
in the Teen Titans
right.
currently.
And then Beast Boy has been around, maybe. And he is green on the cover of this book. So he is a green eagle on the cover of Teen Titans 30.
In Teen Titans, they did this...
Did they switch it back?
They did a recent Jump to the Future where they got the quote-unquote new Superboy, and it was green in the future they showed.
So no more red Beast Boy. So I'm thinking New Teen Titans is coming. Stormwatch, like we said, is going...
By Jeff Johns?
Oh, please, for the love of God. Please.
It's basically Teen Titans 2 by Johns.
Superman, make this happen, okay? Stormwatch is going to lead into Future's End, so we heard that. Superman Unchained, like I said, I almost guarantee you we're going to see some sort of Superman reboot because they need to do something with that shit. Suicide Squad, Task Force X, telling you.
I mean, I'm bummed that it's being canceled, but, I mean,
yeah,
we'll see where...
See, the problem for me with Suicide Squad, and part of the reason I'm not bummed that it's been canceled, is they keep dragging me in, and then they change creative teams.
Yeah.
And then they drag me in, then they change creative teams.
Or it's you're like,
It's like
this
the
is
fifth
this
team,
is
I think.
this is getting good. Oh wait, there's an event. Oh, because it's had a lot of event fatigue. So
with Justice League America, I'm surprised they're dropping the name, but Justice League United, JLU, connection to the TV show, the ability to take any character and use them. This is sort of the maybe more out of
ethnically
spacey.
diverse group.
They're all white, blonde hair, and blue eyes, except for Martian Manhunter.
the name?
Every single person on the team. Did you notice that?
I haven't seen any pictures.
Yeah, every
Really?
single one. Every single one is white, blonde hair, blue eyes.
It's the Aryan Justice League?
Every single one
Holy
except
crap.
for Martian Manhunter.
What's the title again?
Justice League United.
That wasn't the name of the TV show.
No. But similar, no, unlimited, but JLU, right? Same abbreviation, affiliation.
Wait, is this
I'll give you
Justice
that
League
one.
University?
Nightwing, Toby, Nightwing.
Yes.
Did you cry after you heard the news?
No, because I don't know what the news is yet.
So, we don't know what's happening with
Yeah,
Nightwing.
nobody knows. I mean,
Right.
I'm waiting out.
But one of the big rumors is that Dick Grayson, post Forever Evil, because Nightwing has now been outed, must come up with a new identity.
Yes.
With the death... Sorry, I'm going to spoil some Batman Incorporated stuff here. With the death of Damian Wayne a little while ago,
Yes. That'll be Robin again.
There is no Robin in the DC universe. The first issue of Secret Origins, which is the new anthology series that's coming out, is Superman and Dick Grayson. It does not say Robin or Nightwing. It says Dick Grayson.
By Kyle Higgins, if I'm correct.
I think so.
On the Secret.
Yeah.
Nightwing returns as Robin to lead the all-new Teen Titans. Retaken the mantle. Again, just in time for that Man of Steel 2 movie featuring the Dick Grayson as Robin cameo in 2016 now.
I'm very against that, but...
Now that Charlie is showing us a picture of an annual that's coming up. That is a flashback.
I see that one.
But
still,
it is adult Dick Grayson in a Robin costume.
Yeah, which bothers me a little bit. I mean, look, to me, Dick Grayson has moved on from Robin. He is Nightwing now to me, and he is Dick Grayson. To me, he is not Robin anymore. He hasn't been Robin for so long. And it seems like DC likes to put the iconic name behind the superhero back in his costume. They did that with Barbara, with Batgirl. I mean, yeah, you talk Barbara, everybody knows she's been or has been or is Batgirl, right? You talk about Dick Grayson, everybody goes, that's the first Robin. Not necessarily Nightwing. They go, that's the first Robin. You know, so it seems like they've been putting a lot of these behind the mask names back into what they're mostly known for. And to me, that's almost a step backwards. Sure, iconically makes sense, to push merchandising makes sense, and so on and so on. But to me, to me, Barbara became Oracle, and you got to move forward, not backwards to me. And it seems like if they really are, and again, I don't know, that's why I don't want to comment on this. If they're really going this way with Dick Grayson to be Robin again, it bothers me quite a bit, actually. It's almost going backwards and forwards. I almost wouldn't mind if he is a new character altogether. If they move on and he becomes a new identity, he picks up a new mantle and comes out with either the Outsiders or the new Teen Titans and leads them that way. That's almost okay with me.
That's okay. He gets a haircut and goes back to the blue.
Yeah,
so everybody thinks
exactly.
he's a new Nightwing.
No, I mean, to me,
disco costume.
Yeah.
Nah. I mean,
that'll be the variant.
To me, Nightwing is a new generation of Batman.
Yep.
He to me, that's why I liked when the new Outsiders came out that Nightwing was the leader instead of Batman. I thought that was a very, very fresh new take on it. You know, if they're going to do a new Teen Titans, sure, I don't mind Nightwing to be back, but I much rather see Tim take a crack at it.
Yeah,
which is the John's run. It was Tim, not Dick Grayson, and I love that. And when he falls into things that he may not necessarily go to Bruce, he's more likely to go to Dick. And I always kind of like that, brotherly thing going on over there. I missed that in the new 52, but maybe we'll get some of it back. Maybe not. Maybe we'll get a completely fresh take on it. So I'm not going to comment on it till we know for sure what's going to go on. Either way, I'm a little worried, but. Maybe Back in Blue is in the walls here for me.
I'm behind Toby on the Outsiders thing, though, because even if he doesn't go to Titans, I think that's the next course of action is to have him, since he can't be anybody because he's been outed, to be nobody.
Yeah. Now, rumors are rumors, and this whole episode could be pointless in 6 months.
Exactly.
But
hence why I don't want to talk to you about it too much. Taking Barbara from being Oracle and making her a Batgirl, which has happened. Yeah. I love Oracle. I know Oracle's a fantastic character. Batgirl's cool, but Oracle is the better character. Yes.
So, I'm okay. I'm mostly okay with it, and I think they've done a good job with the Batgirl series, and I don't dislike it, but I really miss Oracle.
Do you still like Birds of Prey?
Birds of Prey's okay, yeah, but
compared to the Oracle, Black Canary, Huntress, the Birds of Prey, it doesn't seem the same anymore.
Right. But
did you see the newest titles for Arrow?
No.
There's a Birds of Prey episode coming.
Oh, really?
Teaming up, and Huntress is coming back with Black Canary.
Nice.
All that's missing is Oracle.
Yeah. Now, with Nightwing, though, he is the one character in comics that has grown.
Yes.
Really. Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, all these characters are mostly the same. They aged Spider-Man quickly in the 70s, or in the late 60s, early 70s. They've taken most of these characters and done stuff around with it, but Nightwing is actually one of the rare characters that has progressed and changed. He is one of the few that was around in the 30s, around now, and is in a very different state than he was then.
Yes.
and taking, if he comes back as Robin, to me,
Doesn't it feel like 2 steps backwards? I mean, that's what it feels like to me.
I understand
like
it.
a grown-up Robin just feels a little weird to me.
I understand it, but I disagree. I think it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
And had they launched the New 52 that way, so be it. All right?
Well,
they start over.
I mean,
he's a bit younger.
He could be Red Robin, but it still feels a little weird to me.
With that Batman and Robin annual that we're getting, it's a flashback to...
But he's an adult on that cover.
No, he's an adult on that cover, but I think that...
And it's a different costume. It's totally like an adult version of the Tim Drake costume. Yeah.
But the thing is like you said, Nightwing has grown as a character. He was nurtured under Batman as Robin, and then became his own character. But he passed the legacy of Robin on to other characters. So, Toby, it's kind of pointless for him to go back and be like, well, I'm taking Robin back since I don't have Nightwing anymore.
It's like you going back to high... Well, you are back in high school. In a different state, though.
Yeah. This isn't like, with Hal Jordan where he dies, becomes Spectre, and all this stuff that isn't a good fit. Right? To me, Nightwing is one of the best changes in comic book history. He is one of the, like I said, few characters that changed and grown. And to me, and going back, I think is a mistake. So,
and to me, Moss is a small thing, but to me, Robin always been a kid character,
right? Yeah.
The kid can grow up, which we've seen with Tim, and he seems to have gotten younger in Damian, which I loved. I loved the fact that Damian was so young in a Robin costume that made more sense to me.
But when you have JGL playing Nightwing, or you have JGL playing Robin and Man of Steel,
to me that
too,
one was an almanac of Robins.
Right,
you got a little bit of everything. And luckily, they gave him the real name as Robin, so he could be Nightwing as the character running around on top of rooftops.
Sure.
I felt like they took the best out of the best of all the Robins and put him in one. And as Nolan many times said, that story is done unless they really are going to continue it. Yeah.
All right, Brock.
Yes.
You had a book club pick this month.
I did.
You want to tell us about it here?
Sure. So I picked Blue Estate Volume 1 from Image Comics. I can't even pronounce the guy's last name. It's Victor Kalok. I don't know how much spittle I need.
Nice attempt.
Yeah. But I picked this up, I think, 2 years ago or so.
Okay.
I was flipping through Comixology's free comics, and number 1 of this came up, and so I really enjoyed the cover because there's some really awesome covers to these issues. And so I started checking it out, and I enjoyed it immensely. So
give us turn slightly to your right and give us some of your feedback here. What's the story about?
The story's basically about.
Or I guess I should ask, what's the story about in the first trade? Because this kind of just not end.
It's a setup, I guess, for what's taking place. Because there's a private eye who's a fat, glasses wearing, kind of lazy.
Failed to be a police
officer whose dad is an actual detective in the force and stuff like that. So he's filled the shoes, but he hasn't filled the shoes.
Yeah.
And then it's about a famous actor and his wife and their entanglements with the mob based on this connection to this really horribly titled movie franchise called Hunt to Kill, yeah. They're like on Hunt to Kill 10 or something.
I think Steven Seagal, as Toby pointed out.
Yeah. It's very, very much that feeling. And just like mob and drugs and like everyone's kind of... This sets the stage for all the characters that you're going to follow throughout this, and it interweaves a good story. But yeah, I just enjoyed it because it was a fun read. It's different. It's fast-paced. There's definitely a voice between characters. When you're reading the Russian characters, they really have a thick accent, and it's just, I found it very fun. Yeah. So personally, if I was to give it a score, I'd probably give it 7 out of 10 Brocks.
Okay.
So, but I hope people enjoyed it. 7 people voted. Thank you for your votes. 3 people liked it, 2 people didn't, and 2 people were indifferent. So we'll see how the spread is on our podcast.
Okay. I also have a review here from Lane, who posted on our Facebook group, but I'll read that at the end.
Nice.
But are you going to read it now?
No, I'll read it after.
Oh,
Toby,
okay.
you get a chance to read this?
Yeah, I did. I biked here yesterday just to make sure I would read it before the podcast. Now, in retrospective, I wished I biked here a week earlier and read it. Because as Charlie pointed to me, it seems like this is 3 trades.
The whole thing is 3 trades. This is the kind of the beginning, or Act 1. So
yeah, I kind of wish I knew that going in, because I really would have liked to read all 3 of them. After reading the first one, I really wanted to read the next 2 also, but the store was closing. Even though I have a key, I needed to bike back because I don't have a light on my bike. But no, I really wanted to read all 3 of them because, no offense, Brock, just as the first act, this is kind of a weak first act, I thought. I think they should have maybe after. I mean, how many issues is the third trade?
10 or
yeah, but now it's been so many. I feel like if this is one story,
it should be one trade.
It should be one trade, not 3.
No, this came out in 2011, so the other issues came out in.
And I think Lane probably up. I mean, this is $12.99 for 4 issues, which kind of bothered me also. And if they're all 4 issues, it would have been 12 issues, a year's worth, right? 3 times no. Yeah, 12 issues. I would have made a really nice big trade. I would have preferred that because I was very indifferent. If this was not a book by pick, maybe after 2-3 issues, maybe I would have given up on it. If I read this on my own, if I just looked at the cover, and the covers are very gorgeous. Yeah, they are. If I picked this up on my own, I probably would not continue this. If I didn't know it's only three books. Knowing that it's 3 books, I'm now indifferent. I'm like, do I want to continue reading and see the whole story? Because it feels like there's a build up and there's a grand finale. It does feel like that. But the question mark is not knowing any of that, right?
Yeah.
Do I really want to? Because I didn't know. I mean, do I just keep reading and things go nowhere? Now knowing that it's 3 trades, I'm like, oh, there could be a really good finale. Do I want to go for that? And do I want to read that? So I don't know. I also don't like that there's multiple artists on this book, which I usually don't mind, but on this I found it really hard to follow the characters. There's a couple of times I had to go back and forth, look at the shirt designs and make sure that's the same character. It really kind of bothered me because some of the art styles are so different from each other. I really didn't think I was reading the same character at times. There's some fun stuff in there, of course. There's some, noir, Pulp Fiction-y action talk and stuff. It's a fun read. Overall, I mean, I enjoy 100 Bullets better more than this. But again, if I knew this was one book, I would have read the whole thing. And I really do kind of regret reading this in the last minute because I really would have given a fair shake at reading all 3 of them. So based on this book alone, I'm probably going to give it a 5 out of 10 Brocks, maybe even a 4. However, if I read the whole thing, my score could be completely different. So again, I really don't like the artists being multiple artists in this book. At first I thought they were going to do something really clever because I don't mind different artists on a book. If they were doing one artist is doing the current time, one artist is doing the flashback, one artist is doing maybe another version of the story told by another guy that might intervene with what might be the truth.
Yeah,
that would have been baller, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. So. Yeah, 4 or 5 Brocks out of 10. However, my score might be completely different if I read the whole thing, and I probably will read the whole thing, to be honest with you. It's just too bad I didn't really know up front that reading the whole thing might, that was a finite story.
Yeah.
I wish I knew that, yeah.
Charlie.
Okay, so I've been thinking about this book since I only read the first trade as well, and my natural reaction to something like this that is a finite story is I probably will revisit it if they ever put out a hardback of it. But
default Charlie answer.
Yes,
always for the hardcover.
Basically. It's sort of a weird thing because my mind definitely sort of compares this to Stumptown and a lot of the other sort of gritty noir kind of stories I've read, and I think this could set up to go somewhere really good. I had a overall generally positive impression of reading the first trade, but that being said, I do find myself sort of going back to without knowing where it goes from here, I think I prefer sort of these stump towns where it's a very confined story that you get over with fewer issues, or even something like Black Sad where there's, again, shorter spurts of story and that kind of thing. So towards the actual story, I actually liked a lot of the different characters and how it was very much one of those stories where when you're following this person's perspective, they run into this character, which sort of ties it all together because at a glance, for the most part, none of these characters seem like they should tie together.
Yeah.
So it had some stuff going for it, and I'm only going to give it a 6 out of 10 Brox right now because I don't know if it sort of pays off in the end or not from just the first trade. And it's definitely one of those that the finale is going to make or break the story for me.
I mean, I want to interject here. I mean, I didn't find any of the characters very memorable just yet. Not just yet. I mean, there's the actress, there's the Steven Seagal, guy. It feels, I don't know. Also, when she was hiding the cell phone in her poon, lately I've been reading all about cell phone radiations. I'm like, man, she's going to have some weird mutated babies. Maybe that's the payoff. I don't know.
That's Blue Estate Fallout.
Yeah.
No, that was just about the little dig at her husband about hiding at the one place he'd never looked.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting enough, though. It did really pique my interest to continue reading, and I really did wish I had more time.
Yeah, I don't want to sound too much of a broken record here, but I'm going to kind of say a lot of the same stuff these guys have been saying. Interesting, it's funny. I was talking to Toby on AIM today, and Toby was talking about how much he hated all the varying artists on it, and I was like, really? There's multiple artists on this book?
Yeah, I mean, they were all good. I just didn't, they were so different from each other.
And see, that's so funny, because to me, it just felt like one guy's whose art sort of shifted a little bit as the book went on. Like, it wasn't until I went back and looked at it, I was like, oh, there's like 5 artists on these like 4 issues. Like, that's nuts. But yeah, it was the art kind of. I like the style. It's got the sort of very exaggerated, very kind of gritty mixed with cartoony feel, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean,
very exaggerated, but still has that real gritty feel to it.
I liked every single one of them. Just, I want to, like, give me a flow. Don't give me all of them. Like, even if one did one story, like the first arc, and the next guy did the second, I would have been fine with that, too.
Yeah, to me, though, the art didn't seem like that different from issue to issue, though.
It's completely different. Mr. Writer Follower.
Oh, yeah. So for me, I'm just catching glimpses of them.
I'm with Ryan on this one, by the way.
Yeah, it's not
the coloring is the same throughout the whole book, which masks
helps it.
The style. If you put this in black and white, it'd be a whole different story. I tell you.
So story wise, again, interesting. It's got the sort of Tarantino feel. Got that crime noir feel to it a bit. It's kind of a bunch of assholes running around being assholes, doing bad things. But yeah, I mean. Again, had to spend all 12 issues, maybe we would have got more to it, but I don't even, not that I don't see a payoff, it's like I barely even see what's the start of a payoff? I don't, like I feel like we're not really...
You don't know where does this head it.
Yeah, it's like we're not even going anywhere kind of with this, because it feels, the issues kind of feel independent of each other a little bit, because you have some of the stuff with the private investigator that seems... kind of disconnected from anything else, and I'm sure it all does come together at the end, but yeah, again, with these first 4 issues, there's just not a ton to go on. So yeah, had this been, again, like we had said, a full 12-issue trade, sure,
it is actually colored by the same guy. It's colored by the creator.
Yeah, it really is just the start of the story. So, but that's, it's okay. And again, thought it was interesting. So, I don't read a ton I don't read a ton of crime noir books that aren't by Ed Brubaker. Let's put it that way. So, cool, interesting enough start. And I do like the art. I especially like the art. I think in the first issue. I think the guy that did the first issue, I think I liked his art style the most. So, now that I went back and flipped through it. So, but yeah, I think I read the first issue when it came out like a couple years ago. Not online. I think I just grabbed the first issue off the shelf because, again, to say what Brock and Toby said, great covers. Really, really nice. I don't know who does a cover art, but really nice cover art on this book. So, yeah, if you like that type of book, if you like crime noir stuff, Quentin Tarantino, things like that, not a bad book to read.
Now, I know you mentioned read more trades if you can. I mean, did you say it was a finite story to begin with? You said something about if you can read more.
I said that this is just the first volume because that's the requirement. Is that we can't like I'm not going to assign you the whole thing. I'm saying this is the first one.
I think almost
out
you
of
maybe
3.
should have. I almost feel like you maybe should have said all 3. And it's not a Bryce because each is only 4 issues as opposed to each being 12 issues.
So I could have gotten away with just saying read Blue Estate Volume 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
and everyone
because
would
that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I really do feel I did an injustice because this is not the full story.
No,
I can't really judge it. I really can't.
I agree.
And Lane is going to mimic. Lane is going to say exactly what we've all said. Starting
highlights.
It suffers from inconsistent artwork by different artists at very times, and at times can be very difficult to tell what has happened. This actually did bother me a bit. The dialogue is a bit heavy, and the use of Russian and stylized font can be hard to read. They do use kind of like the traditional this different font for the Russian dialogue, and kind of like Hawkeye and a few other books that have done this too. I think I don't think it works. I don't like when they break it out like that. So I'm okay with putting other languages in the comics, but when they sort of stylize it weird, it's hard to read. Some of the Kid in Pulp Fiction, she focuses on a new character while trying to tell one big caper story. Like in issue 1 through 4.
Yeah.
The series is focused on a long-term story, and the first 4 issues do nothing but jump around introducing characters or little info given about their eventual roles other than something bad is going to happen, given in most noir stories. While there may be a big payoff at the end of the series, the pacing is very slow, much like the author intentionally wrote this to be a screenplay but failed to sell it and turned it into a comic directly, which happens a lot. And the cliche characters really didn't create enough interesting scenes for me to care about the characters or the involving story enough to stick around past the first trade. In 2 issues, Dead Body Road, another Image book, and Brock, I think you like that one, grabs the reader and paced around much faster than the 4 issues of Blue Estate. I find the positive review quotes on the back of the trade more of an ironic marketing ploy to beg the reader to keep reading, as there is no way the reader can make such educated responses when so little of the story has been revealed within. The comic is far from the worst read, but the decision to collect only the first 4 issues in the trade was the worst decision that could have only been made the far as I weighed the potential of the story. And he gives a 5 out of 10 Brock. So.
No, I mean, I completely agree. It should have been...
Well, then, why did you pick it? I'm just joking.
Trying to introduce
I'm joking.
something?
That's fine.
I want to confirm that Steven Seagal in this one is gay, right? Because he gets blown by the big African American guy in the showers.
That is the implication.
Okay.
No, I don't think he's blown. I think he's the one that's doing the African American guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what I meant. But yeah, that's why he's not. That's why the girl is hiding her a cell phone in the special area. Okay.
All right.
No, I just want to make sure I got that one correct because sometimes it's completely different. I want to make sure I'm not the only one that thought that.
No.
Now, the unfortunate thing here is I knew Omar couldn't make it tonight, and I completely forgot. We were going to do this, and it's his turn to pick a book. So next week, I'll make sure to have Omar's book club pick for the month of February. We'll see if Bryce still wants to do it after. If not, we may jump to Toby and then go back to Bryce or something. So unless you've got one ready to go. You're not for 2 months, but if you've got a book club ready, we can push these guys back a month.
Yeah.
Maybe. Give me 5 minutes.
I don't have 5 minutes. We're ending now.
Yeah. I will rejudge this. I will actually put my effort into finishing reading this and
I enjoyed the whole thing. I mean, I just...
Well, I can't judge it on this alone. I really do feel that this is half
I guess
the story.
I could have gotten away with saying all 3 trades because they're about $12.99, and that would be what it costs to get a Marvel trade.
And on that note, we're just going to stop recording now. So we'll have Omar's pick next week. But
we might have Toby's.
No, it's fine. Toby, you're back in the line. So where's Toby going?
He's picking.
Grabbed a stack.
He's grabbing a stack.
Okay, don't grab a stack of anything, Toby. You still got some time to think about it. He's flipping. He's flipping very heavy. Very heavy flipping. I don't know if you can pick it up on the mic, but yeah. Anyway.
Wait for it.
So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. Toby, get back here. Thank you all for listening. We were gonna...
Oh, damn it.
Toby has picked something here. Let's see what Toby has picked. Maybe. Toby is looking. Why don't we just wait?
So he knows what type of book he wants. He just doesn't know the name of the specific trade. That's what I'm getting.
Because I want to pick a specific one.
Okay. Well, Toby, you have 2 months now to think about it. So that's fine.
You hit me out of left field.
I know. I was like, if you knew off the top of your head, but no, I don't mean to jump the gun.
You need to realize if you follow me, you have to be prepared because Omar and Bryce might not be.
Not always there.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you all for listening. We'll have a pick next week, and we'll go.
I also have to
Good enough for
reread
that.
these in English and see if they're as funny as I thought they were.
Toby has a stack of asterisks in front of him, so spoiler for 2 months from now.
Unless he changes his mind.
Unless it changes.
Yeah, this might just be a ploy.
Yeah.
This
All right.
might be like 7 months from now or more.
All right, thank you everyone for listening. You can find this episode and all our other episodes at geekbox.net as well as comicsconspiracy.biz, assuming I actually update the Comics Conspiracy front page, which I don't do nearly as often as I should. Forums at geekbox.net. You can go there and talk to all the wonderful, wonderful forum people.
Thanks for the candy, Mr. Jackie.
Yes. The Comic
And a
Conspiracy.
really cool card. It's pretty awesome.
The Comic Conspiracy at geekbox.net. That is our email address. You can send it there, as well as use a contact form on the front page at geekbox.net. The Geekbox community group on Facebook. You can go join that. You just got to click the little ad, and someone will invite you into the forum or into the group as soon as we see it. I do that all the time. I invited someone in as we were recording. It popped up. So there you go. I'm usually very quick to reply to these things. What else we got? ConspiratorBrock.com, that's Brock's blog. Comics and to Kind, that's Omar's site. Hopefully he'll be back next week. The Infinite Longbox Podcast, that's Charlie's podcast. We'll have some news in the next week, 2 week and a half, about his upcoming Doctor Who podcast, which they are still hard at work on. So we'll give you all that info when that comes out. Ryan Higgins Ryan on Twitter. That's me. Brock is Conspirator Brock. No, sorry. Brock is Brock Sager. Brock is Brock Sager. Omar is Comics and to Kind. He's the one that has the same name. Bryce is Larson Bryce. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie is Insanity in Chaos.
I couldn't get Conspirator Brock because it was too long.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. And if this is video game Geekbox stuff, but if you are a fan of classic video games, we have this past weekend we did a live stream of Super Mario Kart. This is myself, Ryan Scott, Toby, who was just here. I don't know where he went, and a few of our friends got together to play a nice Mario Kart tournament, which. Spoiler alert, I whooped some ass at. Thank you.
There's that 12-year-old ego coming out.
Because Ryan cheated.
No, well, it's because half of it became the drunk circuit, and the other of us were the sober people.
Bull crap.
The DUI
See,
circuit.
I knew for a fact I'm horrible at Super Mario Kart. I really thought we're going through the ages of Super Mario Kart, where I could kick ass towards the end of Super Mario Kart.
The plan is maybe once a month we're going to get together and do these streams of some classic games, and we're starting with Mario Kart.
And I even tried to practice myself, but I don't actually own the original cartridge for it. And I tried the emulator. The emulator didn't work on my computer, so I had to practice on like a fake Mario Kart game, which is not Mario Kart. It's really horrible. I couldn't play it, and it was like the worst thing ever done.
You should have just made a cardboard box and threw banana peels.
Well, I've been doing that for all my life now. But Ryan cheated because he picked a game and he practiced.
I seriously may have played for 30 minutes within the last
Not what
decade.
Leanne says.
Yeah, okay. Well, she's just mad because I beat her in the first round.
But it did make for some very entertaining videos. If you like to see me yell out really random things that did not make any sense whatsoever, so you could go watch that video.
Me and Ryan Scott did commentary on it, however, on the stream, which you can find, by the way, at twitch.tv/geekboxing. That's BOXING.
It's also on YouTube.
Or the YouTube channel, which is YouTube, I think it's youtube.com/geekboxing. So you can go find that on there. It's broken up into multiple parts on YouTube. The full stream's on the Twitch save there. So we're... But when me and Ryan Scott did play, other people came in. So Toby and our friend Kevin did some commentary. Toby also filmed it.
Yes.
So using real cameras, not shitty webcams.
Well, yeah,
so
we'll have some side stories going on.
Hopefully he'll get that, including an interview with the winner. So
I wonder who it is.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. So we're going to be doing that. And
what's the next game?
It'll probably be Mario Kart 64. So if you like that type of stuff, I'm also going to be trying to do some gaming live streaming at twitch.tv/New Warrior. That's NEWARRIOR. So go friend me on there. And I'll see if I can. I think I'm going to play Diablo 3. I need to beat that. If I stream it, I think I'll beat it. I'm really like on Inferno. Like I'm really far into it. I just need to go through the end before the expansion. So
I had a feeling that's where you were going with that.
yeah, because it's coming soon. I got about 2 months, so I need
a reason to play my video games.
So there we go.
Live stream them.
Some video game talk for your Comic Conspiracy podcast. So we don't all read comics. I barely read comics these days. Jesus.
What are you on the DCs?
17s. Well, not all of them. Not all of them.
So
but
you're almost a year behind.
the big chunk is 17s. So I'm a little bit behind on a couple of these
I may
titles.
have my pick, but
honestly, 17 is like a story arc and a half back. So it's really
Yeah, I
not that
know.
far.
I may have my pick, but I'll wait for next week to announce it, just in case if Omar comes.
Okay,
We'll do
if
it all
Omar
in order.
can't make it, if Omar doesn't
Then
have a pick,
I should have my pick next week.
Then we'll
it's
jump to-
between two books,
then we'll jump to Toby.
and I found one of the two books.
We'll jump to Toby. So there you go. All right, we will catch you all next week. Thank you very much for listening, and hope we will have a new book club pick for you next week.